Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Cam, and welcome back to the Reiner Project, where myself and Russell Howell are covering every movie directed by the late great Rob Reiner. And Russell, we have stumbled upon, or well, not stumbled upon, but we've finally come to one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Rob Reiner movie this week.
Yeah, this was one that I got a late introduction to. My wife loves this film. Obviously, she can't be with us tonight because she's at work still. But I still know the things that she likes, so we'll talk about that. But yeah, I stumbled upon this one because she loves this film and has it in high regards. And it's great that this will be your first time seeing the film and actually talking about it. So it'd be kind of fun talking about this.
Well, let's not waste any more time. Let's just get right into it. Let's talk about when Harry met Sally.
When?
Someday.
In 8 years.
This was released in 1989. It starred Billy Crystal, Meg Ryan, Carrie Fisher, Bruno Kirby, and more. It tells the story, and a plot synopsis kind of seems irrelevant because if you're watching this or listening to this, you've seen this movie before. But the basic gist is that a friendship between Harry Burns and Sally Albright, played by Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan respectively, is strictly platonic, and they believe that sex will just get in the way. Well, over the course of the film, they come together and go apart, and come together and come apart. And they keep things platonic until they just can't anymore. And yeah, famously, I'm severely late to this party, but now I'm at the party, I've attended the party, and the party was well worth the wait because this movie was so good. Like, it's just crazy how Reiner just was like 4 for 4. It was like Stand By Me, Princess Bride, this, A Few Good Men, and Misery. So he was like 5 for 5. Like the dude just mid 80s to the early 90s, you couldn't touch Rob Reiner.
Yeah, no. Yeah, this film, like I said, watching it again for this, you do realize like the 90-minute runtime goes by rather fast. It's easy to watch. But you like the roller coaster, like, are they going to get together? Are they not getting together? Are they, you know what I mean? It's like you're going up and down with them as they navigate life and relationships, and you see the series of all their relationships. Some of them are like successful at the time, and then they fall apart, and then they appear. He appears in her life at the at different times, and it's kind of cool that this is like over a course of like what 12 years, I think.
77 to 89, so yeah, that is 12.
Yep.
And I love the structure of this movie, how it starts out with them like with Harry seeing another girl, and then Sally, and they're like traveling partners, and then they're like, well, I'll never see him again. And then it sees like it transfers like not the power, but it like you said, it catches him at different points. So you're like, one's getting married, one just broke up, and vice versa. But every time they meet, they're at different points of their lives. They're either in a valley or a peak with no in between. And I think that is really well done. And something that at first I was like, why is this here? But it makes total sense if you think about the grand picture of it all, is the married couples who are like, oh, we met on this day in this situation. I'm like, why is this here? But then I'm like, this kind of mirrors what's going on with Harry and Sally. And then they tie it all together, and it's like, well, it took 3 months, 12 years and 3 months, which that was pretty funny, I'm not going to lie. But the married segments combined with what Harry and Sally are going through is honestly really great. And I did not expect, because as soon as I saw this old couple show up, I'm like, they aged fast. But then I was like, I wasn't paying attention. So there's like an intelligence that this movie has that I don't see in a ton of romance movies.
No, there's a lot more thought provoking. It's a lot more thought put into it than you see in other, romance films in general. Just they get real lazy. And like, and basically, I liked the whole, having the different couples in there because they tell their story of how they fell in love. So, you know what I mean? Like, you're getting everybody's love story as you're watching one unfold. So, I do like how Reiner kind of like throws that in there in the mix of things too, and then to bookend it all together, they have their interview, their love story, like interview or whatever at the end of the film to kind of like put a bow on it.
I don't want to go too like because I'm not 100% sure, but I gotta imagine that Billy Crystal is like Rob Reiner's most consistent dance partner. I think he may be in the most ones, and I could be totally wrong, but it just like he was in Princess Bride, like he was Miracle Max, like he was in Spinal Tap briefly,
Yeah.
like he was he must have been in the most Rob Reiner movies. I could be totally wrong,
I
but like
mean,
Chris,
so far, yeah.
but I've always loved Billy Crystal. I've always thought he was funny. Like ever since I first heard him in Monsters Inc. Because I mean
Yeah.
he's Mike Wazowski. It just his comedic timing in that was great. It was like these are the jokes, kid. Love that, and just it made me a Billy Crystal fan overnight. But here he's just really great, and then he and Meg Ryan just have great chemistry with each other. It's not just the scene in Katz's Deli that you've probably seen. Honestly, like, that's a good scene, and it's insanely quotable and all that, but my favorite scene, one of my favorites comes at the very beginning, where they're at the diner for the first time, and they're just, like, bouncing off each other, and he's like, "Yeah, you go to Sheldon for this, you go to a Sheldon
Oh,
for
like a
this."
root
But,
canal, yeah. Yeah.
like, how's Sheldon the wonder schlong? I
Yeah.
laughed at that a bit too hard,
It
but
was
it just from the very beginning, these people just get each other.
Yeah. And I mean, and this is like primo, like gorgeous Meg Ryan before she like butchered her face, like, which is so damn such a shame because she was like beautiful. I mean, she's still beautiful, but like, you could definitely tell, like, if you saw that movie with her and David Duchovny, it just came out a couple years ago where they're stuck in an
Oh,
airport. What,
here it is.
what
What happens later?
what
What happens
happens
later?
later? Yeah, but like it's a crazy to see what happened. Like, and then she had taken a huge gap, off. She was disappeared from Hollywood. She was like the it girl. I mean,
Mhm.
she was huge in the '80s, huge in the '90s because you figure, she was in Courage Under Fire. She was in You've Got Mail. I mean, she was everywhere. So like she was her stardom was huge in the '90s and 2000s. '80s, '90s, and 2000s, I should say. And then she just like disappeared. And then like, yeah, like, oh man, like I don't know why people in Hollywood like to do the plastic surgery dance when you see what happens. It's just like,
It's
man.
gotta be an image thing, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, she looked good as is, man. Like she was beautiful, like. And the thing about it is, has such perfect timing in her deliveries. Um, and it's just to show that Crystal and her have such great chemistry on screen together. You can see it; it's very apparent from the first opening scene when they're she's picking him up, and then so to let people know, it's basically it's the girl that he's dating at the time's friend is
Mhm.
friends with Meg
Yes.
Ryan, and that's why because I know sometimes I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, why the hell did they already know each other? Well, no, they did not know each other prior to this. So yeah.
No. And then you get Carrie Fisher in this
Mhm.
movie, which I was texting you while I was
Yeah.
watching this, like, the other night. I'm like, Carrie Fisher is just known for Star Wars, but if you look up and down her filmography, she got work. Like,
Yeah,
she
she
was
was.
in quite a few things to where you're like, "Wait, she was in that?" And sure
Yeah.
enough, like, I'll never forget seeing her in Scream 3 for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Where
And
did you come?"
Horizon too, yeah. She was also in I believe Sorority Row. I think she played the
Yes,
mom, the
that's the
house
one, yeah.
mother. Yeah.
And
Um,
then
yeah.
you then my favorite non-Star Wars role of hers is when she plays Jake Blues's jilted lover in the Blues Brothers
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
with
Yeah.
with the RPG and the bombs and all of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's like, "For
And
the common good, I must kill you and your brother." Just that
she
whole monologue is just awesome.
she definitely has and just transcended genres too. I mean, you have, obviously Star Wars, Princess Leia. I mean, I think that's obviously already, doesn't need anything else. But yeah, she like everything, man. Horror films, comedies, like she was everywhere.
And then you also have Bruno Kirby, who
Yeah,
would go on to star alongside Billy Crystal in City Slickers. I
a couple
find it
years later.
funny that
Yeah.
for my lower third, it's like Billy Crystal disses a wagon wheel. And I'm like, yeah, give it about a year. You're going to be seeing a lot of wagon wheels, Mr. Crystal.
Yeah, it's funny because yeah, you said that you texted me that one, and I was waiting for it. I'm like, where the hell is it at? And then it comes like near the back end of the film when Bruno Kirby's character has already like moved in with Carrie Fisher's, and yeah, and then they're talking about this Roy Rogers wagon wheel table or whatever. And I like how you said, yeah, about the dishes, the $8 dish that's going to cost you $1,000 in litigation or whatever if you guys get divorced and stuff. Yeah, it's funny stuff.
And then another one of my favorites is just shows the chemistry between Ryan and Crystal is that when Sally just calls up Harry out of nowhere is like, Joe's getting married. And then without even missing a beat, Harry's like, I'll be right over. Click, just goes right over. Like he
Yeah,
doesn't even know what's going on. How do you feel? It's like, say less. And like he's just right there. I
it's
love
cra-
that.
it's crazy how much bad luck both of these characters have until they find one another. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
They definitely have their whole laundry list of people that they had dated or whatever. That the relationships always go south, and for like crazy reasons. Yeah, like Billy Crystal's character when she meets Harry at the well no before the bookstore, but he's getting married. And then obviously when they meet at the bookstore, she has broken up with her boyfriend that Harry knew because they see each other at the airport, and he's getting a divorce because his wife's leaving her. It's like these guys can't find, they have to find one another. They can't obviously be with somebody else.
Hmm. And there's just so many intangibles to this one that just make this work. Like I love the score here. I love how most of the score is like Ray Charles and jazz music. I love that. The movie looks phenomenal. Like I saw this considered one of the greatest fall movies of all time because like you just see it in just the autumn leaves and all of that. I just love that so much. Like there's even an argument it's almost a Christmas movie because there's a couple of good Christmas scenes in here.
Yeah, my wife always wants to watch this movie in the fall because of the after I should say for mentioned autumn scenes with the leaves, New York City, Central Park. It's so beautiful. It encapsulates what how fall should look. And she always wants to watch in the fall. We never watch in the fall. And kind of like what you said, yeah, there's a couple scenes right there after that's Christmas time where they're getting trees. So yeah, you can throw that in there as a Christmas film too, I guess.
And one thing I found out just now, the guy that did the cinematography for this was a guy by the name of Barry Sonnenfeld, who
Oh yeah, Men in
I
Black.
mean, we all know, director of Men in Black, Raising Arizona, or not Raising Arizona, those were the Coens. But long story short, Barry Sonnenfeld had a pretty successful directorial career, but he, along with guys like Bo Welch, really had a hand in making Coen Brothers and Tim Burton movies feel like Coen Brothers and Tim Burton movies. So Sonnenfeld had a long career behind the camera before he was directing.
Yeah,
So,
it was funny, and then I even seen what it was written by Nora Ephron. So this fits her bill of what she kind of like likes to in her wheelhouse.
yes.
Yeah,
And really, I feel like I don't want to go too deep into the plot because it is like I feel like I don't want to give a ton away, even though everyone watching or listening to this probably knows. But just all that I can say is that this is just fantastic. It just, like you said, the 90 minutes just breezes by.
yeah,
These people like each other and they like being around each other. And but the beauty is that you're not sitting there like just get to the makeout scene already. Come on. But you
yeah,
just like seeing these people
yeah,
together. And
yeah,
even though I had seen the scene where Harry's like, I like it takes you a half an hour to order a sandwich, and I love when your eyebrows do this when you're thinking. It's like
yeah,
in the moment when earlier they were at a New Year's party and then it ends with another New Year's party. I love that. It just
yeah.
and given the context of everything that we now know about these people, that scene hits a ton harder for me.
Yeah, no, and I agree. I know one of the scenes my wife always likes is when Carrie Fisher's character is saying, like, promise me I don't have to go back out there, like going back out there to, the single world again, trying to date and find somebody. She always tells me that she always loves that quote from the film. But yeah, she's just a huge fan of the film. Loves pretty much everything on it. But yeah, I know that's the scene she always talks about. She always likes that scene.
Yeah, and this is getting an amazing grade. I mean, it's When Harry Met Sally. Like, it's just phenomenal stuff. And I think, to put a finer point on it, I feel like this is just one of the best romance movies ever. And it really speaks to, because Rob Reiner played around with romance in his other films, like Princess Bride, and like Wesley and Buttercup, that's in there. The Sure Thing, obviously.
Yeah.
But in terms of pure romance, this is one of the best.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. There's probably you could throw this in the mix with a lot of other ones, but yeah, no, it's definitely. I mean, it's definitely highly recognized as like one of the all timers. You know what I mean? I mean, there's so much around it. You have the on screen chemistry, which really helps make this film. Because if you don't have chemistry between the two main characters, you don't have a believable film, especially when it comes to a romance. So that was huge, and even with the side characters too. I think Reiner does such a great job blending those guys into the story as well, weaving them in there. And overall, it is a really good solid film, and it's one that you could easily go back to, rewatch. It's easy to digest. It's a 90-minute watch, goes quick, and you feel good at the end of it watching it.
Indeed. But I passed it off to all of you. What did you think of When Harry Met Sally? You've seen it, so let me know your favorite scene in the comments. I'd love to read what you have to say. And Russell, thank you so much for doing this as always. Tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, you guys can find us Facebook, Notorious by Chance. We just recorded Thor on our road to Avengers Doomsday, so that should be dropping probably tomorrow, I'm guessing. And then we will be shooting our yearly Best Picture winner. So we're going to be talking about One Battle After Another, which I hadn't seen. I still haven't seen. I think I watched the first 45 minutes with my wife, and she tapped out because she was bored. She doesn't like slow burns, but it is what it is. But yeah, you guys can check us out there. We got a couple other episodes dropping, and you guys can find us YouTube, Notorious by Chance as well.
Yep, all the links down below. Subscribe to them over there. As far as this channel goes, when we return to the Reiner Project, it's another first-time watch for me. And if I remember correctly,
For me too.
Scratch
Oh,
that.
oh no, take it back. Strike that. Reverse that. Yeah, we're doing
that,
Misery. Yep.
That.
Yep.
Yeah, we're covering Misery, which I've seen plenty of times, and it's awesome. And I'm looking forward to talking about that because Misery's great. Rest in peace, James Caan. But as far as next Friday goes, Russell and I will return to the horror movie Iceberg, and we'll be talking about VHS 1994. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.